Senator Hamida Kibwana. That statement is dropped. Senator Hamida Kibwana had 2 statements. In fact, 3 statements. Those statements are dropped. Before I move to statement pursuant to Standing Order 56-1, I will allow Senator Chirange to make a statement under Standing Order 52.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, the Senate statement on an issue of general topical concern on Faith Kipyegon breaking 5,000 meters world record barely a week after shattering the 1,500 meters in Florence, Italy. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52-1 to make a statement on issue of general topical concern and national importance, namely Faith Kipyegon attaining a hat trick of world records inside 7 weeks by shattering the 1-mile world record in Monaco. Mr. Speaker, sir, Faith Kipyegon once again made history when she broke the world record on the 1-mile race by clocking 4:07.64, shattering a record previously held by Sifan Hassan of 4:12.33 set in 2019 in a standing display of dominance, setting a new record barely 7 weeks after breaking the world records in 1,500 meters and 5,000 meters. Mr. Speaker, sir, Faith Kipyegon, our heroine, has proved and showed that she is indeed the greatest athlete of all times, with a blistering performance and 3 world records in 50 days, being reminiscent of the feat achieved by legendary Henry Rono, who happens to come from Nandi County, who shattered 4 world records in 81 days in 1978, and Daniel Komen, who broke 3 records in 1 year in 1996 and 1997. Mr. Speaker, sir, Faith Kipyegon, the legend, being a double Olympic and world champion, have won other world titles while running for the junior team, has shown that resilience, hard work, determination, and focus surely pays. She has been an inspiration, Mr. Speaker, and it's worth to note that she is also a mother. She has been a wife to the upcoming athletes and women in general in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, such heroes and heroines should be honored by this honorable House by according them a chance to address the House. By doing this, our athletes and sportsmen and women who have continued to make us proud as a country at the international and local arena by flying our flag high always will feel appreciated and brand Kenya and will be motivated to achieve even more for the nation. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish also to congratulate Ferdinand Omanyala for becoming the first Kenyan ever to win 100 meters race at the Diamond League, where he managed to beat his idol, Johan Blake of Jamaica. So, Speaker, sir, as our athletics team is preparing for World Championship, scheduled to take place in Budapest, Hungary, and I hope, Mr. Speaker, sir, under your guidance and your magnanimity, to allow one yours truly, Cherargei, to attend in Budapest, Hungary in August, I continue to call upon the Ministry of Sports, Athletics Kenya, and you know I'm a sports enthusiast, Mr. Speaker, and the National Olympics Committee of Kenya, NOC, to partner with the Ministry of Tourism in marketing Kenya as a tourist destination, using our athletes as brand ambassadors for Kenya, thus enabling them to have a decent rewards from the government, Mr. Speaker. And you know I'm also an athlete, but I run my athletic during the night. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to congratulate Faith Kipyegon and our athletes and wish them well, assuring them of our commitment as a House and the Senate and Parliament, and support in championing for their welfare at all times as they continue to represent our nation. Congratulations, our heroine and legend, Faith Kipyegon, among other sportsmen and women. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Statement pursuant to Standing Order 56-1B, the Chairperson Standing Committee on Energy, to make a statement relating to the activities of the committee. What is your point of observation?
You know, Honorable Speaker, I have observed with great concern every time that our directees do so well outside there. The senator for Nandi County always rises on standing order number 52, so that he can limit us not to comment, not even to maybe praise those directees, because with standing order 52 limits senators to make any comment on this performance of the directees. I think he is very selfish. Every time he wants to run away with these praises alone in this chamber, Mr. Speaker. So I want him to reconsider, even coming up with a statement on 53 to the Minister of Sports, to ask how they even welcomed Faith Kipyegon after winning and Manyora. So next time, I really want to beg you, we want also to participate in congratulating our athletes, our Kenyans, Honorable Speaker. So I think next time, change your tact so that you don't run away with the shoes every time, Senator Cherargei. I also take this opportunity to thank Faith Kipyegon and Manyora for their brilliant performance in last week's athletics. And Mr. Speaker, if you allow them one day, they can come to the Senate. We celebrate them. We really thank them when they are here. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much indeed.
In that case, I will allow, pursuant to Standing Order 1, I will allow limited intervention. Maybe 3 from the government side and 3 from the opposition side. Senator Cheriot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, indeed, I agree with the comments, first of all, by Deputy Speaker, on either by design or maybe lack of proper technical advice on the part of Senator Cherargei. That on many occasions we've wanted, Mr. Speaker, to also pass our congratulations to our athletes when they do well and exceptionally well while at that, Mr. Speaker, internationally. And he always brings statements, which is a good thing. But, Mr. Speaker, I just want to point out that I am looking for the minority leader. The reason I'm looking for him, Mr. Speaker, is that the last time we had this discussion, Mr. Speaker, we agreed that under standing order, I don't recall the exact number, but Kenyans who do exceptionally well are allowed to come and allow the privilege of addressing this House. And we were directed actually to jointly invite her with the minority leader. Unfortunately, I know he has been busy on the streets with sufurias in his head. But now that we are back in session, Mr. Speaker, I hope he can find time so that we do these letters and invite people. I also know that in his absence, my good neighbor, the Senator for Nyamira, and I hear Senator Cherargei saying, welcome back to the country. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you can allow me to pen it together with Senator Okongo Mogeni.
Senator Cheriot.
Yes.
Senator Mogeni would wish to inform you.
Oh, yes. I will be more than glad to be informed. You know, Mr. Speaker, this is a man well-traveled. The last week, so I don't mind being involved.
You know, Mr. Speaker, the beauty of being a commissioner is that I know the list of the people who have traveled. I can tell when Senator Cheriot was out of the country last. I can say how many times he has traveled. I can tell you where Senator Alwale was last week. So I know these things, but I want to say that. But I just wanted to inform Senator Cheriot that Senator Minority Leader Mazayo is not out there carrying sufurias. He's out there mourning with many Kenyans who have lost their lives due to the brutality, not from you, but from our police officers. So I want you to really empathize. I mean, Senator Cheriot, anything that touches on human rights of Kenyans, Senator Cherargei will tell you, it's something even Senator Lelego here, it's not something we take lightly. We have fought for this democracy for a long time. We disagree. I've sat in this house and seen very heated debate Senator Murkomen from that end, and Senator Orengo from this end. But we all say it's a celebration of the diversity and the democracy that we enjoy as a country. But anything that touches on innocent lives of Kenyans or women, children, being taken away, even if it's your brother or your sister, I will condemn it. So that's why the minority is not here. And we should all speak with one voice. When it comes to police brutality, we should condemn it. You remember what Mzee Haji, then as chair of Committee on Security, did when there was a small hint of police trying to brutalize the Kenyans, and even our senators, when they arrested Lelegwe, Senator Malala, Mzee Haji summoned the IG here, if you remember. He summoned him to this house, and he said he will not tolerate any person taking away the life of an innocent person. So that is something that we should all speak with one voice. That's what I wanted to inform you. And I hope you will speak about morale. You know, when you talk of celebrated athletes, last time His Excellency the President was honoring athletes. I saw Mora was missing. And you know that in the 800, she is now actually the world champion. So I hope you convey a message to our President William Ruto. Next time he's honoring these athletes, we want to see Mora in attendance in State House, please. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed, Senator, to conclude your remarks.
Senator Cherargei is pleading for the floor.
I think, Senator Cheriot, you should be well informed enough to conclude your remarks. Do you need more information?
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I thank you. I've been informed where the minority leader is, Mr. Speaker, and I agree, Mr. Speaker, with our Commissioner, Senator Mogeni, that we must all condemn police brutality. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to add further that the same way we condemn police brutality, we must condemn also the use of hired gangs for political activity, Mr. Speaker. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to the attention of Senator Okongo Mogeni that there are more than 100 police officers who are lying in police at the National Police hospitals and different hospitals in this part of the country. There is one that has lost his life, Mr. Speaker, over attack by gangs. Police are our brothers, they are our fathers, they are our sisters, Mr. Speaker, and therefore, the same way we condemn when people are beaten up, Mr. Speaker, by police, we must equally condemn the gangs that are marauding these streets in the name of bringing down the cost of living, Mr. Speaker, who go on to attack other Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. In the same breath, Senator Kongo Mogeni, you are aware that there is a young boy called Kibagendi who runs a supermarket in Kisii town. You saw what those gangs did to his supermarket, Mr. Speaker. We must equally speak up against those kind of activities and political intolerance. People who are hurt while others are purporting to exercise their political and democratic rights, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to challenge Senator Mogeni that can you please bring up law to this House, because you're senior counsel, you need to guide us, Senator Mogeni, that gives life to Article 37 so that we know how do I demonstrate without interfering with the lives of other Kenyans. Senator Mogeni, you will have done this country great justice, and you will have made use of your title as senior counsel by guiding this House in knowing how do you pick it. You cannot maraud like the devil, wanting to be everywhere and anywhere at the same time and call that demonstration. In fact, Mr. Speaker, you know, in civilized democracies, just as I conclude, because they know that Article 37 is a universal right that we want to enjoy.
What is the point of order, Senator Kathuri?
Honorable Speaker, you know the mood of this House was to congratulate Faith Kipyegon and Ms. Omanyala. But the point of information that around Senator Mogeni to give has disrupted the flow of those congratulatory message that senators wanted to give these two Kenyans. So, Mr. Speaker, can you kindly redirect the two minds so that we go back to the track? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cheriot, kindly focus on the subject matter.
can I have the mic? We'll have a chance to maybe talk about Article 37 later. But now I agree with the Deputy Speaker. I congratulate Faith Kipyegon. I am looking forward to penning that letter together with the minority leader so that we can invite her to this house to give us an address. I wish her well as she prepares for the World Championship, Mr. Speaker. You have heard Senator Cherargei has made a request that he wants to be allowed to travel to Budapest. Mr. Speaker, as his majority leader, I endorse that message. Only with a rider that first he needs to hit the gym in Parliament in day, not at night, Mr. Speaker, so that by the time he gets to Budapest, he can enjoy the World Championship, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also would like to congratulate these two athletes in line with what the president started last time. He recently congratulated them. In fact, I think this might have contributed to the young lady breaking her own record. Similarly, Ferdinand Omanyala, his record of 9.92, the first Kenyan ever to win a Diamond League at 100 meters, Mr. Speaker. These young people are a very good example to our youth. Mr. Speaker, it's starting to look like when youth talk about being recognized, they want to be recognized because of their role in politics. These two young people are teaching our youth that you don't necessarily have to become an MCA or be nominated to the Senate as a youth for you to be appreciated. You can still be appreciated by exploiting the other talents you have. Mr. Speaker, allow me to congratulate the following villages because of Omanyala. There was so much celebration in Marinya, in Shikoho, and in Tongaren because of Omanyala. Mr. Speaker, I will not go into details. I will not go into the details because that is between the print. The relation is that just like you, he also has a home. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Good English.
Senator Boni, proceed to conclude your remarks. Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, the issue of drugs, Senator Cherargei has been very strong on doping. But the biggest threat these children face now is not the drugs that they are given, but because of their success, they become vegetables since they are accessed by drug peddlers. So we have to encourage our youth to spend their time in pastimes like these two youths that we have instead of pursuing bangi, cocaine, heroin, and so on. Congratulations, young people, and I wish you well. Mr. Speaker, there is a village in Nandi called Kibrir-Sang. They are my neighbors. I've never understood this village. In fact, I was talking to a professor of athletics at the University of Nairobi that maybe they should go and study this village. This is the village where Henry Rono was born from. And Mr. Speaker, in Kibrir-Sang village, it has the highest concentration of local and international athletes in the region and in the whole world. So, Jeb Kotske comes from there. So, what goes on? I was starting to think it was a case of DNA and so on until Omanyala defeated Americans and Jamaicans. I'd been given to think that Americans and Jamaicans are supposed to be the ones winning 100 meters, but Omanyala has disapproved them. So there is need for us to do a bit of science and study to establish what happens in Kibrir-Sang. Kibrir-Sang, my neighbor. But in the absence of that kind of study, I want to encourage the Mijikenda of Mombasa to also, besides going to the gym and, Mr. Speaker, trying to excel, they should also try and marry in Nandi so that they can get the breed of runners. And Mr. Speaker, I don't have anybody on mind. It's just that I love the Mijikenda people.
I had hoped you'll proceed in that line of contribution. And, Senator Mbugua. Senator Mugeni.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank Senator Samson Cherargei, for coming up with a statement that recognizes these Kenyans that make us proud. Mr. Speaker, anytime I travel in the country and people ask me, where do you come from? I say, do you know that country where Faith Kipyegon comes from? That's my country. This lady has made us proud. This lady has made us proud. When you tell somebody from a foreign country that you are from Kenya, you speak as if she's our, and I want those foreigners to forgive me. When they ask me, do you know Faith? I say, she's my neighbor. Because they don't know. Because I was so proud of that lady. When you break that record, Mr. Speaker, you feel proud. And there's nothing that unifies us as a country more than sports. I'm so proud of this girl. And I can't wait for the day she will be here and address the nation from the Senate. Those are the guys that build the name and reputation of our country, Kenya. If you are watching me, Faith, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. On behalf of all athletes, Mr. Speaker, I want this girl to inspire the upcoming athletes. I was so pained, Mr. Speaker, when the other day I watched the 3,000 steeplechase. That has always been traditionally our Kenyan race. And we lost. We have lost that race, Mr. Speaker, to the Moroccans. I hope we can do something. Senator Khalwale, we have been winning 3,000 steeplechase. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Now we cannot even get a bronze since 1969. Yes. I mean, I want to call it a national tragedy. I mean, how can a country defeat Kenya in 3,000 steeplechase? It's unacceptable, Mr. Speaker. If there is anything we can do, including on this one, we can speak with one voice, even if he's doing what Museveni is doing. You know how Museveni is motivating those athletes, Mr. Speaker? He sets aside a house, a vehicle, and he motivates those guys. He tells them, if you beat the only opponent he knows are Kenyans. He tells them, if you defeat the Kenyans in marathon, that house will be yours. That vehicle will be. We should also do something. We can get a house somewhere, we can set it aside, and say any Kenyan who will win 3,000 steeplechase, they get that house with a title and everything. Because there is no sport that makes us proud like athletics. And Cherargei, when you speak, remember my people, the Omogusi nation. We were the champions in the 4x4. Yes. You know that quartet of Ouko, yes. Naftali Temu, Nyandika Mayor. Yes. Yeah, you know those guys. Yes. That thing of 400 handing to the next and you win it. Yes. That's where we want this country to go back to, on sports. Yes. Now we have another proud lady from Omogusi, Mora. Yes. That is our champion in 800, unbeatable in 800. That race of going twice in the field, she's unbeatable. Those are the Kenyans who make us proud. Mr. Speaker, let me make you laugh. When last time we had Kipchoge Classic, I sat somewhere and somebody whispers to me that some old mama and Amze next to me were parents of Omanyala. I pleaded with them to allow me to take a selfie with them. I have a selfie now of the parents of Omanyala in my phone, because those guys make me proud. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a good initiative. Majority leader, minority leader, move with speed. Invite those Kenyans to come here and address the nation. And I want the young children who are watching us, appreciating these Kenyans, to also work hard and bring gold in other races. You can imagine with hard work, Mr. Speaker, it's unbelievable. Now we are able to challenge the Americas in 100 meters. Through this guy called Omanyala. So tell your children to eat ugali. That's what Omanyala eats. And is now, I hope that in the world champions, let's pray for that guy to bring gold to this country. He should bring gold. Alwale. Then the people of Kakamega, people of Gusii Nation, Rift Valley, everywhere, we pray for that guy to bring gold. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud of these Kenyans. They make me proud, they make me feel good. We wish them all the best. Let the government create some incentives so that we see more champions. Faith Kipyegon, I'm proud of you and congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wafula.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa nafasi hii. Kwanza kuwapigia shangwe na kongole wanariadha wetu kwa matokeo ambayo yametufurahisha na kuatia moyo wengi ambayo wana azma ya kuleta taji ama mataji katika nchi ya Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Cherargei ametaja kwamba ako na talanta adimu ya kuchana mbuga usiku kama wanyama wa pori. Ni vema kwamba nchi hii iweze pia kuwekeza kwa talanta ina hiyo, kwa sababu inaweza epusha madhara yanayodhihirika katika barasi za nchi ya Kenya zinazoonekana kwa sababu ya maandamano ya kubeba ala za matumishi ya jikoni. Zaidi ya hayo, Mheshimiwa Spika,
Senator Cheriot, what is your point about it?
Je, ni vyema kwa seneta anayezungumza, seneta rafiki yangu, seneta wa Bungoma, seneta wa Koli, kumtusi mwenzetu seneta Cherargei kwa sababu ya upungufu wa lugha kwa pande ya seneta Cherargei, kwamba haelewi kwamba akimlinganisha na mnyama wa mbugani? Hiyo ni haki kweli, Bwana Spika? Bwana Spika, ningependa umkosoe kwanza, umwambie sio vizuri kulinganisha seneta mwenzako, hata kama ni kwa lugha ile wanaita lugha ya figurative. Kwa Kiswahili, Bwana Spika, ungelisaidia sababu najua wewe unaelewa Kiswahili zaidi kunishinda, lakini sio vyema kumlinganisha seneta mwenzako na mnyama wa usiku. Nafikiri kwa sababu kwa yale amesema Senator Cherargei, nikikutafsiria huyu bwana amekuita mnyama wa usiku na sio vyema, Bwana Spika.
Nafikiri Senator Cheriot, katika lugha ya Kiswahili kuna sehemu inaitwa fasihi, na unaweza kulinganisha ili kupata ufahamu zaidi, na nafikiri hilo ndilo Seneta Wakoli amefanya. Hakumuita mnyama wa matembezi ya usiku, la hasha. Kwa hivyo sidhani kwamba ameenda kinyume na kanuni zetu za bunge. Seneta Wakoli.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Anayotaja kiongozi wa wengi husema aisifuye mvua imemnyea. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna talanta ama mwanabondia vile vile shupavu hapa Kenya, bondia Wanyonyi, ambaye siku kadhaa zilizopita alikabiliana na mwasimu wake Madonga nguvu kazi, ngumi iliyozaliwa Ukraine. Alicharazwa makonde masumbwi na nguvu za itikadi za Bungoma na maombezi ya Yesu wa Tongaren. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, cha kushangaza, Wanyonyi hakupewa heko, hakushukuriwa. Lakini kwenye vyombo vya habari, Mheshimiwa Spika, tunaona wale ambao wana tabia mbovu, wale ambao wamepatikana na makosa ambayo hayastahili kuweka kwenye runinga, wanapewa mwezi mzima, Kenya ikijadili vitu ambavyo havilete heshima katika nchi. Mheshimiwa, tunaomba kwamba kama jumba la Senate vile vile tuhakikishe vyombo vya habari vinawapa kipaumbele wanariadha na viongozi ama wachapakazi nchini ambao matendo yao, matamshi yao na maisha yao, hulka zao zinaashiria uzito na kuashiria kwamba wao wako katika jitihada za kuboresha nchi ya Kenya. Sasa mimi kwa niaba ya wanabondia nchini humu ni kumpa heko Wanyonyi kwa kudhibiti shinikizo za nchi jirani kwamba hatuna nguvu, hatuna uwezo, na kwamba tuwekeze katika mchezo wa bondia hapa Kenya. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Senator Cherargei for coming with the statement to congratulate Faith Kipyegon and Omanyala and now Wanyonyi, our sports team, for doing great for this country. Honorable Speaker, Faith Kipyegon has made us proud. Kenya is shining across the world now, and we want to continue and even reward. In fact, somebody said the president of Uganda sets aside a car, a big car, Brado, and a house for those who beat Kenyans. Even Ethiopia also, they reward the athletes very well. So as Kenya, maybe we need to speak to the CS in charge of sports so that we set aside, when we are doing our budget every year, we set aside resources to reward our athletes so that at least we continue making Kenya shine across the world, so that we regain the lost glory on steeplages, because steeplages has been known as a Kenyan sport. In fact, we've never lost it since 1969. It's only that recently now we've started losing, which is unfortunate. And you know, the athletes are demoralized because they see their colleagues from other countries being rewarded, and then we are not rewarding them, Honorable Speaker. In fact, Honorable Speaker, there is something that we need to do apart from rewarding them. We also need to train them in terms of investment, because we have lost many athletes in the past because they get rewards, they make money, and then in the process they don't have people to teach them in terms of investment management, how to invest, so that when they grow old, they reach an age they are not competing anymore, they have income from what they'll have earned during their youth. Honorable Speaker, Omanyala also has made us very proud, because 100 meters has never been known as a Kenyan sport. It's been the US, maybe Nigerians, but Omanyala has made us proud. So we need to encourage our athletes to compete in all the races, because we are capable of winning, we are capable of earning forex exchange coming to the country in this particular sport. So, Honorable Speaker, I congratulate them. At least now, even Wanyonyi has done us proud. And when we invite these athletes every year, we give them an opportunity to come and speak to us, to encourage the youth, so that they know you can make money by engaging in both education and also competing in other sports. Elgeyo-Marakwet County, actually, we are doing well. As a county, Iten is the hub in terms of both local and international sports. The names Kipsang, Bridget, Moses Kiptanui, name all of them. And these are people that have made us proud, and we need to reward them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Cheptumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also wish to join my colleagues in thanking Cherargei for the statement. And Mr. Speaker, our sportsmen and women, said by leaders, have made this country recognized internationally. And Mr. Speaker, the image of Kenya today, apart from being a country that is peaceful, Mr. Speaker, is being recognized because of the role of our sportsmen and women. And Mr. Speaker, what goes together with the success is the resources, Mr. Speaker. If you go to Eldoret today, Mr. Speaker, some of the buildings in Eldoret is owned by sportsmen and women. The income, the resources, Mr. Speaker, that come to our country is enormous. Mr. Speaker, in Baringo County, for example, we have Terkat. Those years used to be a very, very successful sportsman. And in Gabarnet Town, Mr. Speaker, a building stands that is owned by Terkat. Resources coming out of sports. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we have a reason as a country to spend more resources. And I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, that the head of state, the president himself, is ahead, leading by example by rewarding recently 5 million to one of our successful sportswomen. And Mr. Speaker, I think if we do this and ensure that the Ministry of Sports, in terms of policy, in terms of resources, Mr. Speaker, we are going to have more Kenyans participating in this, and we are going to even continue to be recognized internationally. Mr. Speaker, employment in this country is becoming a challenge. And I want to encourage our young people, our youth, that if we diversify some of our talents, Mr. Speaker, we are going to earn even much more than if you're to be employed in the formal sector, in formal employment. And so, Mr. Speaker, I think as a country, we want to appreciate these young people, and I want to agree that we want to have them appear before the House, talk to the country, and in so doing, Mr. Speaker, I think they will also encourage the young sportsmen and women in our country. So that, Mr. Speaker, we put sports ahead of us. Mr. Speaker, the policy of the Kenya Kwanza government, as you are aware, Mr. Speaker, is that every county should have a stadium. And Mr. Speaker, facilities in our country, I think this is the challenge that we have. So I would like to encourage the Minister of Sports to ensure that that particular chapter on the Kenya Kwanza manifesto on sports is, Mr. Speaker, implemented, so that in those areas where we don't have facilities, Mr. Speaker, we are able to, invest more money, and we have our institutions of training being improved. Finally, Mr. Speaker, if you see the training that goes to this, Mr. Speaker, we really appreciate the young people, the sportsmen and women. But, Mr. Speaker, there's one aspect I want to raise here. The commitment, the sacrifice, the training that goes before they win. I think something that is able to encourage all of us, that in anything that we do, if we work hard, we can be able to succeed, Mr. Speaker. So they go through a serious training. Sometimes, Mr. Speaker, they spend a lot of time running around and be able to achieve this. So, Mr. Speaker, it is indeed a value that I want to say that it is good for our young people. Whatever you do, whether in school, whether in the training for sports, whether in employment, the culture of being people that work hard, determined, resilient, committed, is a value, Mr. Speaker, that sportsmen and women of our country are able to demonstrate in our country. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to join leadership in this House and all of us in thanking our sportsmen for raising this country to where it is today. I support, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Veronica.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. And first, I want to congratulate Faith Kipyegon for leading by being one of the best athletes in this nation, Mr. Speaker. Faith Kipyegon is raised like many girls in this nation. She was born in a small village in Keringat, a place called Keringat, Mr. Speaker. And she comes from a family of 9 children. She comes from an ordinary Kenyan family. She has beaten many, many odds to make the achievement that she has made, that the world is so proud of her today. Notably, Mr. Speaker, Faith is a mother. She has, I believe, a 5-year-old and is a married woman. She has shown women that there are no excuses for not being their very best. She has shown young girls that through hard work, sheer determination, effort, courage, focus, that one can rise to become a world champion, Mr. Speaker. She has attained 3 successive titles at a global stage, standing out as a very big victor on the track, Mr. Speaker, and putting every effort without excuses and making us so proud as Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when I look at her life, I see reflection of many youths in Kenya, Mr. Speaker, that if all the counties were to encourage the young people, we could have very many Faith Kipyegon's in this nation, Mr. Speaker. She now stands out as a strong mentor, a person whom should be emulated in every county in this nation, Mr. Speaker. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, when this Senate meets the governors in the devolution conference, one of the things that should be discussed between the senators and the governors is how all governors in the 47 counties can lift their youths to a level where they are doing sports and art at a level that can compete Faith Kipyegon. I take this opportunity to truly congratulate her and urge the county governments to secure a funding to support the youths, not just with stadium, Mr. Speaker, sir, because youths have very many talents, Mr. Speaker, sir. Some could be acrobatics like what we see in Mombasa, Mr. Speaker, sir. Some are artists. They are very good musicians in Kenya. If they were just given a boost and a support in creative arts, in the talents that they have, Mr. Speaker, sir, we would be speaking of very many Faith Kipyegons. For now, Mr. Speaker, sir, as women and many girls in this country, we know that because of what we have seen her achieve, many girls and many women can succeed in spite of their statuses and in spite of their background. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Now we move to the statements pursuant to Standing Order 56-1. The Chairperson, Energy.
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm the Vice Chair of Energy Committee. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give a statement for the period commencing 1st of April 2023 to 30th June 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56-1B to make a statement on the activities of the Standing Committee on Energy for the period commencing 1st of April 2023 to 30th June 2023. Honorable Speaker, during the period under review, the committee had a total of 21 sittings, considered 5 statements, and have an ongoing inquiry. Honorable Speaker, the committee also considered 2 legislative proposals. Mr. Speaker, the legislative proposal considered by the committee includes the local content bill, which is before the committee, and an amendment to the Energy Act. The local content bill 2023 aims to create a comprehensive legal framework that will fully enhance local content in Kenya. The amendment to the Energy Act seeks to provide transparency in energy purchasing agreements, what we call PPAs. Honorable Speaker, we have some statements. Mr. Speaker, regarding the statements pursuant to Standing Order 53, 8 statements were sought from the committee. The committee considered and concluded 4 of these statements. In considering the statements, the reports and responses received by the committee were shared with the respective senators, and the statements concluded. The statements that were concluded include the following. A, statement sought by Senator Godfrey Osotsi MP regarding the deal between the governments of Kenya and Saudi Arabia on the importation of cheaper fuel into the country. B, statement sought by Senator Mwenda Kataya MP regarding the connection of electricity in Tharaka County. C, statement sought by Senator Samson Cherargei MP regarding the fuel subsidy program. D, statement sought by Senator Beatrice Ogola regarding the faulty transformers in Mutembei County. Mr. Speaker, The pending statements are as follows. A, the statement sought by Senator Enoch Wambua, MP, regarding last mile connectivity in public schools. The committee has written to the CS in charge of Ministry of Energy and Petroleum seeking a response. B, statement sought by Senator Hamida Kibwana, MB, regarding the proposed energy tariffs applicable from 2022 to 2026. The committee has also written to the CS in charge of Energy and Petroleum, and we are awaiting responses. C, statement sought by Senator Alexander Mundigi, MP, regarding the national power outage that was there some time back. The committee also has written to the CS, and we are awaiting responses, Honorable Speaker. D, statement sought by Senator Joe Nyotu, MP, regarding the status of the last mile project in Murang'a County. We still await responses, Honorable Speaker, from the CS. Honorable Speaker, C, on the inquiry. Mr. Speaker, the committee has been conducting an inquiry into the high cost of electricity in the country. The committee has met all independent power producers, the PPE, IBPs, those who produce 50 megawatts and above. The experience has been very eye-opening, as it demystified a lot of myths held before meeting the teams. Honorable Speaker, it is indeed true that electricity in Kenya is generated by independent power producers. The IPPs have signed power purchase agreements with Kenya Power and Lighting Company, who is the sole distributor of electricity in this country. The local installed electricity capacity is 3,121 megawatts. From that, geothermal energy produced 950 megawatts, thermal energy 646 megawatts, wind power 436, solar 210, and hydro generated power is 839 megawatts, giving us a total of 3121. From these meetings, the committee was able to understand the role of each independent power producer. Honorable Speaker, the committee also met with Kenya Power, who is the sole distributor in Kenya, and Kenya Transmission Company, KETRACO, which transmits the electricity, Honorable Speaker. The reason for the meeting was to find out what can be done by KBLC and KETRACO to reduce the cost of power in the country. Honorable Speaker, it was surprising to learn that just by completion of Narok-Bomet transmission line, Sondu-Miriu Kisumu transmission line, and Mariakani substation, then the coast region would be able to enjoy the benefits of geothermal, and there would be no need to purchase electricity from Rabai Power. Moroni Cars Power Plant, which produces electricity at the highest cost, above 52 cents per megawatt, would be shut down, and people in Western Kenya would enjoy cheaper, stable geothermal power. But these three lines, Honorable Speaker, have not been done. Basically, these are progress reports, and we were given assurance by the CS that by December this year, 2023, these lines will be completed, and we expect the cost of power to come down by next year. Honorable Speaker, the committee held also electricity stakeholders workshop that brought together the Ministry of Energy, KBLC, KETRACO, IBRA, Electricity Sector Association of Kenya. The workshop was a great success, as these teams, they had never met in the past together under one roof. So it was actually a success, and we expected towards the end of this year, basically, there will be benefits to the country. Honorable Speaker, the committee will be retreating to write its report soon. This report will have recommendations that are timely and actionable. We will be proposing also to do amendments with the Energy Act. For example, the committee will be recommending that all thermal plants in the short term pool together to purchase what we call heavy fuel oil. They call it HFO. You know, currently, Honorable Speaker, each of the thermal power producers, they procure and they preserve and they stock HFO for 2 years, which is expensive. But if they can buy as a group, basically the cost of HFO will come down, and we expect the cost of power to come down, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this will benefit from the economics of scale, which will reduce the cost of electricity basically to the consumers. In the long term, Honorable Speaker, the committee will recommend that as by the power purchase agreement, thermal plans to switch to LPG, basically liquefied natural gas, which will basically to be friendly to the environment and it will reduce the cost of power. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, as I conclude, the committee intends to carry out the following key activities during the next quarter, the quarter that began 1st of July to 30th September this year. 1, complete its inquiry on the high cost of electricity. 2nd, visit operations of Tala Oil in Turkana County to ascertain the status of oil exploration in the country. Maybe we can also target around the time we are going for Senate Mashinani, we could go there so that we don't have to go there twice. Honorable Speaker, number 3, visit the Kenya pipeline facilities in Kisumu to understand the operations of the Kisumu oil jetty. 4, meet with the Minister of Energy and Petroleum to determine the way forward on the refinery which sits in Changamwe. Basically, it is being used now as a storage for white oil. Meet with the Minister of Energy and Petroleum regarding the government-to-government agreement on petroleum products importation from Saudi Arabia. And 6, meet with the Minister of Energy and Petroleum regarding the status of KBLC with reference to its financial status and the losses that it is making. In fact, in this last financial year, Honorable Speaker, KBLC had projected a loss of 5.5 billion Kenyan shillings, and we are worried, and we are wondering as a committee, as a monopoly, Kenya Power is a monopoly. How can a monopoly that sets its own prices make a loss? You know, it's a question that basically it's still, we are wondering. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Finance and Budget, or any member of the committee. We defer the particular statement. The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Health. Yes, Honorable Senator Mariam, proceed. What is the issue, Senator Chirange?
Maybe, Speaker, at the end of the Health Committee, can you allow us to make a few comments before proceeding to the next order?
Let's cross the bridge when it gets.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I raise to pursuant to Standard 54, Standing Order 56(1), B of the Senate Standing Order to make a statement relating to the activities of Standing Committee on Health during the second session. Part 2 and Part 3 of the 13th Parliament. Honorable Speaker, Standing Committee on Health established under Standing Order 2283 of the Senate Standing Order is mandated to consider all matters related to the medical service, public health and sanitation. During this period under review, the committee had 34 sittings during which it considered 20 statements, 1 petition, 1 legislative proposal, 1 bill, 4 inquiry, table 3 reports on the same, undertake the county visit and held various stakeholder engagement as set out below. 1A, legislative proposal. Honorable Speaker, during the period under review, the committee undertook pre-publication scrutiny of e-Health Bill 2023, sponsored by Senator Hamida Kibwana MP, and recommended that it is proceed for the publication with amendments. Bills. Honorable Speaker, during the period under review, the Committee Health Service Bill, Senate Bill number 24 of 2023, was committed to the committee. An advertise seeking for written submission was put up in the National Diary